So, one of my dreams that I want to do is I want to make a movie. I want to write and direct a feature film, or I just want to become a writer, screenplays and also write books and stuff. So, I love story structure. I love analyzing stories and stuff. One thing that I've been doing recently is that like when I watch like episodes of like a sitcom or something like that, I will while I'm watching it, I'll break down the story because I saw this. I don't know where I got it from exactly, but there was this sitcom structure that I mentioned that I saw somewhere. I think I have it like on a doc, Google Doc or something. But because each usually for like a sitcom is around 21 to 22 minutes. Okay, that's like on average like how long a sitcom usually is. Okay, so like the sitcom structure was, it was kind of, I think it was like the teaser, and then there was like the trouble or something, and then there was the muddle, the triumph, or the failure. So it's like different ones, and I would like, and each of them was like, each section was probably like 5, 6 or 7 minutes, 6, 7. But it was like that. And so then I would like break it down, or like sometimes when I would watch movies, I would use like, yeah, you guys know the save the cat method. It's like 15 story beats. I would break that down, because the reason I do this is because it's like, first of all, I just want to see like how like a movie is structured, how like a Hollywood like high budget blockbuster, how is that movie structured? How do you tell a story? And also for TV, because I want to write a sitcom. I actually already wrote like, I have a script that I wrote for like this animated sitcom I had, and I wrote the first episode, and it's fine and stuff like that. But I just like want to see the sitcom structure, and I also did it for like a TV drama because I want to write all kinds of stuff, and it's so interesting to see because like when you first look at it, like it seems easy. Like the story structures are very simple. For example, like the three act structure: Act One, Act Two, Act Three, and then in Act One, you have like the very beginning of the story. It's like, okay, you're introducing the world, the characters, everything like that, and then you have like the inciting incident. That's like where the big event goes down. That is the thing that happens that kicks the story into motion. Okay, maybe it's like in a sitcom. Oh, they lose their keys and they realize they can't find their keys. Okay, and then like for example in the Save the Cat one, they have the inciting incident, you know, and then they have like the debate where it's like, okay, like how are we gonna do this? Are we actually going to be able to solve this problem? Maybe the character's like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. And then there's like the point of no return where it's like something else happens where it's like, okay, I can't go back to the normal world, what the soil world was like before. So now I got to go into it. Okay, so that's kind of how it is for like movies. The story, like the three act structure for like movies. You got, they go in, and then Act Two is like the longest one, and like usually like what I've heard is that you want the story to look like this. You want it to go up. You want like there to be like a series of mini problems, but each of them like ratchet the tension up. Okay, so each problem just gets worse and worse and worse. Okay, it makes it harder for your character. Maybe like something else is introduced. Another problem that they didn't know about. And then you got, usually in the middle of the story is the midpoint. Okay, this is the like a big switch. Okay, this is like a huge switch. The other problems were like mini problems, that making it better. But then in the middle, there's a big twist. Okay, that changes the whole story. Maybe one of their friends dies, or they have like there's a big crazy fight, or anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big crazy fight. Like if you're writing like a low budget movie, then like it doesn't have to be that, but like has to be something. And then you got the other stuff, and then you got like well, the way that this is weird is because, for example, in some of the three act structures, it's like they have it that like the midpoint, the middle of the movie is the highest part of action, and then it goes down, 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 and it's like you're resolving stuff. But in like the Save the Cat method, it's not really like that. It's actually split up into four acts, and like the midpoint is halfway, and then like almost near the end of the movie, that's where the climax is. So that's where the highest point of action is. And sometimes like some three act structures have it where the climax is in the middle, you know, in the middle of the movie and then it goes down. I feel like it's better if it's at the end of the movie because if it's at the middle, then you still have all this time left, and it's like, how are you gonna hook the people and stuff like that, you know? So like there's like the 3 act structure, there's the 4 act structure, there's also like the Dan Harmon's story circle, which is just basically for any kind of story, like he uses it on like Rick and Morty. I use that. That is actually a good one to use as well, because it's not like it doesn't lock you down that much, but like it's like vague enough. And like I use that quite a bit. I guess I don't really know. I kind of forget most of the steps in it now. I think I'll link it in the description. In the description below. There's also like the hero's journey, which is like a really old like story structure used for like mostly for like myths and like old fashioned stories, but it can still work, still work now. Um, there's also like for like TV, there's like a lot of different like TV structures. Like there's like that sitcom one I was talking about. There's also, I think sometimes I've seen like 4 acts or even I think 5 acts for sitcoms, and each act would be pretty short, and then for like TV dramas, I think for TV dramas you could also go and like I've seen like 4 or 5 acts. It doesn't really matter. Like no one has like an exact. There's not like an exact method to doing it because you can do 4 acts, you can do 5 acts. I don't really think it matters as long as you're just like trying to tell a compelling story, okay? And that's the thing. Like it literally sounds simple. Like telling a story is basically just okay. You use the beginning, okay? There's a there's a character. Oh, but they want something, okay? They want to do something, but there's something stopping them from getting that, okay? So then they work hard to, and then they solve that problem, okay? So that's basically that's what it is, okay? But it sounds simple. Like the structure, like the basics of a story sound simple. But when you sit down and you try to write it, dude, it is anything but simple. Okay, there's been so many times where I've sitting down to written scripts and or like even books. Writing a book is so I feel like it's so much harder than writing a script. Okay, writing a script is not easy, but writing a book is so much harder. But I'm just mostly talking about scripts here. Like it's so challenging because it's like there's so many different possibilities on what can happen, and like you want to make sure that they like flow together. It's not just like random events happening. You want to make sure there's like a cause and effect where it's like, okay, this event happened because which caused this effect to happen, so that it all flows together and it feels like a cohesive story. It doesn't feel like, oh, Jamie went to the store and then he went to the ice cream shop and then he went to the park. It's like, oh, Billy went to the ice cream store, but they were out of chocolate. They were out of chocolate ice cream. So he started crying, okay? See, like that's a dumb story idea, but it's like there's like some cause and effect to it. So it's like that. But like I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay. Like for example, I was writing an episode of this sitcom idea I have. It's about like aliens, an animated sitcom about like this young alien who works at a movie theater in space. Okay, so I was trying to come up with an episode idea. I was like, oh, what if they have like a movie like a D-list movie star or like a movie star that's famous, like visit the theater and he's really like cocky and stuff. Okay, that's probably been done 1,000 times, but whatever. So I was like, okay, he's coming in there. What? Why should he come in there? Oh, he's promoting a new movie. And then I was like, okay. Then he gets there, and then the people start going crazy. But then I was like, what should happen next? Because there's like many characters, and you want to like in a sitcom, like for your main cast, you want to try to like balance it so that like each of them, because like yeah, there's always main characters, but it's like for example, Friends has like 6 main characters. Or some shows usually have 3, 4 main characters. It's like you want to try to like balance it out, where like they all get like kind of an equal amount of screen time. Sometimes some of them will get more, but you want to try to balance it out. So it's like you got to balance all these stories, and then you got to try to make sure that all of them like flow in a way that feels like kind of natural, but also like you don't want to make it so like obvious that like there's not really any tension in it. And also, it's like with a sitcom, you only got 22 minutes, so it's like you really have to be like, you can't slack around. So I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so he's there, he's there, People are crowding around him. One of my characters is like this like grumpy guy, this young kid who's like sarcastic, who's been there for a while, and he's training the new guy, and he's like being pushed around. But I was like, what else should happen? Because like I could not come up with anything. I sat there. I'm like, what should I have the other characters do? And it's just like, yeah, like it seems simple, or like movies are so hard, dude, because movies are like 90 to like 100, 120 pages. That is a lot of pages to write, dude. That's a lot of pages to have to figure out where the story is, okay? And even when I beat it out and stuff like that, I start writing, and I'm like I'm an underwriter. So like I wish, dude, I wish I had the people were like, "Oh, I write too much." I wish I had that problem, dude. I hate it when I plan it out and I only end up writing, I think it's going to be like 15, 16 pages and only ends up being 7 or 5 pages. I'm like, what's going on, dude? And it's like I don't want to like add unnecessary fluff, but it's like, come on, dude. Why couldn't I have just been an overwriter? Like it would have been so much easier for me, man. I could just cut it and like edit it stuff, but I can't edit something that's not there. And it's like, dude, I want to write a movie so bad. I want to write a movie so bad, but I just can't do it, man. Every time I try, it just feels so. It's such a daunting task of just writing like a full length movie. And I know you're supposed to break it up into parts, but still, just trying to figure out like writing a story is so challenging. And it's crazy, like the amount of content, not con, but like the amount of like movies and TV shows that are released. And it's like even though I'm trying to like analyze them and like see how they do it, it's still complicated. Okay, it's still hard trying to, and also just like when I'm writing, trying to make sure like the dialogue doesn't sound like on the nose and isn't boring. That's the part. That's the hard part, making it boring. Okay, or like with a sitcom, like you don't know. I don't know if it's funny or not. Like the jokes I write in there, I don't know if it's fun. Like I'm used to writing like comedy skits. Because like on YouTube I do like comedy skits sometimes, okay? And like those are easy because those are only like a minute, not even, sometimes the skits I do are not even a minute long, okay? So first of all, they're really really short, and most of the time it's just like I just fill it with jokes. I mean, there is like a story to it, but most of the time it's just like a very simple scenario. And like for example, like in like the dialogue, a lot of times, yeah, in a comedy skit the dialogue is on the nose, but that is fine as long as it's funny, okay? So with that one, I don't try as hard. I mean, I do try, but it's like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? It's a comedy skit, okay? But when you're writing like, because like with a comedy skit, if it's only a minute, then it's fine if you have like some bad dialogue or something. But like with a movie, like a feature length movie, you have to make sure that that flows good, or else people are gonna get bored, and they're not gonna want to watch it. So it's just like it's challenging to see. And here's the thing. A lot of movies come out. There's a lot of good movies. There's also a lot of bad movies, and there's also a lot of bad TV shows that come out. So maybe I should be happy that it's like, oh, okay, if some of these shows can come out and the writing on it is so bad, then maybe I have a chance, okay? But I am hoping that one of these days I am able to, maybe write my own TV show. I would love to write my own, like write and like maybe voice act in my own animated series, or like write and also act in my own TV series. But like acting is like a whole nother thing, dude. Like I am not good at, like in my comedy skits, dude. Like I do not memorize the lines. I literally just read off of them and then do it. So like my performance is not the best, okay? Like I'm not the best dramatic actor, but it would still be fun to like act and stuff and like be in my own stuff, okay? But that's mostly, yeah, I just wanted to talk about story structure because it's something that like I am very passionate about and I enjoy, and I like to analyze and I like to break apart like stories and like just TV dramas and everything I can get my hands on. I've downloaded a bunch of movie scripts, and I like to read them and just like see the structure of it. And I actually got like a free screenwriting software, that I've written like I wrote like a short, it was only like 7 pages, like a short film, based on one of my short stories that I'd written before. That's what I'm gonna start doing. Like, take some of my, because I have a short story that I wrote that was like 7 or 8 pages long. Another alien one. I guess I like aliens for some reason, but like I want to try to turn that into a screenplay because that helps. Since like I'm adapting something that I already have. I don't have to come up with a fully original idea. So yeah, that's mostly it, guys. I guess stop yapping so much.